It's been a while.
We're back, check us out.
Hey,
Woo!
it's exactly the people who know the least talking about exactly the thing you want to hear about the least.
We're doubling down.
On not knowing what's going on, but also being back. So, hi.
Don't let our ignorance get in the way of our opinions. Let's have it. What's going on, mate? How are things going, Josie? I hear they're all fine and we've got nothing to worry about.
Alright, so I'm just gonna hit us like, this time I'm going old school. I got a scrap of paper that I prepared.
Take that iPad.
I know that you all appreciate how prepared we are on this channel, so I just really wanted to like step it up a little bit and like pen to paper.
Giving you the research you've earned.
I don't know if you heard, but Victoria has gone into I don't want to stress you out, but lockdown.
Oh!
12 o'clock Thursday night, so that may be by the time we release that yesterday, so you're probably in lockdown. Now, obviously, you know, you got to do what you got to do, but here are the reasons why.
All right, what are they giving us as far as an excuse for this debacle?
So we'll look at like the things that people are blaming a little later, but basically we're back to, it's like they're calling it a 7-day circuit breaker lockdown, which is super catchy and it gives you that real visual of like a circuit breaker.
It emphasizes that it won't be very long. We're just breaking a circuit. We're not doing this for months and months.
You remember grade 10 science or whatever? Like it's like the thing and the switch, etc. So it's like, yes, I understand. It's a good concept. You can only leave home for 5 reasons. It used to be 4, but they've added a new one.
Oh, what's
so
the
it's
fifth one?
Care, work, food, and gym, your classics. And then they've added the new one, go and get your fucking vaccine. You know?
Oh, so, okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right,
so that's like a very valid reason to leave.
They're like, why are you leaving the house? Getting the jab. And they'll let that slide, not
the
fine
reason that they're so panicked about this one, again, they're making the argument it's like the, you know, super scary Indian bee, whatever.
I cannot hear Indian strain and not think about the sort of the racist sensationalism of Africanized killer bees.
I know, but then they did do it with the UK
thing.
virus as well. We were
True.
Like, ooh, so, you know.
Those hot chip booty eating bastards, they're even worse.
Those colonial overlords.
Yeah,
super terrifying. The reason I think that they've probably put this into a snap lockdown though is that there's 10,000 identified primary and secondary.
What the fuck?
That's
millions!
Yeah, it's like, no, it's not. It's 10,000.
Thousands. It's thousands.
Yeah. And then there's also 150 at this point, but probably growing, exposure sites of tier 1 and tier 2. So
is this just because that one cunt went to all those bars in one night and the biggest kick on session
There is Ping a Guy.
He went back to the same bar. They kicked him out and he bamboozled his way in.
We have talked
Definitely
about
don't have COVID and I'm not pinging. Can I come back in your bar?
Your history of COVID having to be published in that way, it's like people are definitely going to have an opinion about what you have been doing with your life. But yeah, that guy clearly had a night.
He went to the sex workers and then to Nando's and then back to the sex workers.
Those poor women.
Gotta load up on protein.
All right, I feel like I've gone through the stages of grieving again a little bit. Like I finally, after being as insane as we were on this channel, got back to living normal life. That's why we haven't been here, because we've been out there doing outside stuff.
Yeah, we've been too busy living in the real world to put this shit together for you. Sorry. Everything went back. Society went back way faster than, to be honest, I was comfortable with.
Yeah, it was a little whiplashy at the start and then we were like back to normal. And honestly, last weekend we were in a club being sweaty and these contact sites, these potential exposure sites are getting mighty close to where we also were on the weekend. But I think what's been interesting is like when these cases, like it's like my brain couldn't quite accept that like this was happening again.
Well, you're like, no.
You saw me the other night. I was like, no. Like we had plans coming up and they're
we were going up for Rising Festival. I've been saying for days, it's going to be fucked. We'll be fucked. Everything's fucked.
And I'm like, no, we're going, we're packing.
It'll work out. Yeah. You know, when the wrestling shows all shut down, that's when you know it's coming down.
Are they the canary in the coal mine for everything
They are, and you can make a pretty bold judgment about who's a canary and who's a fuckhead.
I feel like it's been for Victorians kind of like we've got this collective trauma and it is a little bit like not again, and also because it's such a similar time to when it happened the first time, and 7 days does seem like, you know, I get it, it's probably fucking super necessary, but it's like I think on top of everything else you just like, oh, that's like quite a long time, and what if it's extended, and like, oh god.
Yeah, it's 7 days for now. People screw it up and then it could be months again.
I also thought what was interesting is it was the same pattern as the previous times where for the, days leading in, they obfuscate. They're like, no, we're not saying, but we're not ruling out further restrictions. And you're like, okay. And then they do the thing where they leak the press release like the night, like earlier, so that like...
A couple hours before.
And so when in the morning, when they definitely announce it, everybody's already kind of like, yeah, it's going to be a fucking lockdown. So it kind of softens the blow a little bit, and you're like... But then at the same time, you're kind of like, not sure if you should like fully cancel. You're like, I guess everybody's sort of plans are like reliant on those cancellations. So... It is kind of just like, just fucking say the thing so we can just get
tell
on
us we're
with
screwed.
cancelling everything.
Yeah.
So what I think is interesting is like kind of looking at now, like the blaming of these things is kind of
because everyone's like, why Victoria?
Yeah, why?
Why? Perth only had
It's so
2.
special.
Sydney barely had 1.
Yeah.
Brisbane, who cares? Nothing counts up there. But yeah, it is a bit of sort of, why does it keep happening here? What's going on? What's the deal?
I never felt any kind of like state pride or like
You're not
solidarity.
a state of origin kind of guy.
No, but like I feel like now there's something in me where I'm like, fuck you other states, like you don't understand, don't even talk to me about this stuff, you don't even know. And it's interesting watching like when it happened in other states, you do the same thing where you send your like New South Wales buddies or your Perth buddies, you're just like sending my love, but also then you go off and just like
Here's some pics to jack off to while you're locked down.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it depends. But yes, you definitely support your friends. And it's interesting being in that reversal now, having all like hugs to Victorians and stuff. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm kind of like...
Fuck you. Don't
busy like
patronise us.
stressing out and like not...
But why does it keep happening in Melbourne? Like, is it the grid of the CBD? The germs just pass really
Well.
efficiently around?
Yes. Actually,
Is that it?
I'm
Is it a
pretty-
traffic issue? It's a traffic issue. Sydney, it's a goddamn nightmare. The virus goes around in circles for hours and then
I
dies of old age like we do.
saw the temptation of all of the journalists in the several press conferences we've had trying to blame the contact tracers. Now,
They're just looking for a
what
scalp.
in your head, yeah, it's looking for, and we'll get to like who's to blame, right? Because we've got some opinions just like everybody else. But it is interesting trying, like, first of all, when you think of this contact tracing thing, I'm imagining like sort of like the Ministry of Magic. It's like a whole bunch of people at typewriters, like Googling, like are they out with like a magnifying
it's
glass?
like one
looking-
guy in a trench coat, like
Yeah.
Rorschach with a question.
Yeah, like,
Answering, where have you been?
Yeah.
Absolutely nowhere bad. Where have you been?
It's also been really interesting watching all of the government spokespeople being like QR codes, everyone's doing the right thing, like every Victorian doing the right thing. We're all sitting there like that meme of someone being like, like the peeping eyes meme being like, oh, who the fuck honestly like hasn't either themselves / seen someone directly that they know either not scanning in, wearing their mask like here,
Under their
never
nose.
sanitizing, like kind of just like, spitting in a cup and drinking it with other people at a party. Like
Chewing tobacco.
everyone has been so lax, and if you haven't seen, like, yes, they have.
Yeah, you make sure
Yeah,
you
they
sign
have.
on,
Yeah.
scan the thing, and you're like, it's not working. They're just like, just come in, it's too hard.
Just come in.
Just come in.
It's
Fuck it,
whatever.
right? We want your money. It's
There's no
fine.
COVID anymore. Oh my god, there's so much COVID.
How quickly did we get nonchalant?
That's what I was trying to say. Like, it's been a whiplash of like, I was so weird and anxious. Like, we were washing vegetables this time last year.
When things
And then
first
it was
opened
fine.
up, we were like peeping through the
Yeah,
grass.
yeah,
Is it
like,
safe to go out? And then I was just like rubbing my
What
face on
ends?
toilet seats and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
back
Not even
to
to smoke
normal.
drugs, just for fun. And
Back
because
to
it
normal.
felt safe. We reverted so quickly. And then as soon as they were like, oh, maybe you should wear your masks a couple of days ago, everyone was like, what?
Masks? I
And then-
will obviously do. Like, just to make it abundantly clear, lockdown good, masks totally reasonable. Just fucking put them on. It's fine.
Elderly and vulnerable, not dying in stacks outside the hospital.
Great.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, one of the primary areas that people are like now is super under the spotlight is Australia's weirdly like she'll be right mate attitude, lackadaisical
fucking country.
attitude to our vaccine rollout. Now, I don't know about you, Alex, but I don't watch a heck of a lot of television anymore because who the fuck does? And I haven't really
False.
seen a lot of the advertising coming out from this country in terms of like knowing about the
Yeah,
vaccination.
but we're on YouTube. Why aren't they buying the ads on YouTube? Why is every YouTube ad I get just for fucking Facebook or Amazon? Why isn't
Well-
one of them a government one saying, hey, have you had your jab?
Maybe we
you
should do
have
an
your jab."
episode on that another day. That's a total. Let's sidebar that.
That's
boy.
we'll bank
But
that for algorithm chasers.
I checked out. I had to Google it to find it myself. I went to the Australian government's YouTube channel, and I'll put a screenshot up here of the incredible views they're getting. It's like 3K on a lot of these ads.
How many people live in this country? Like 23 million or something?
I think it's more than 3K. Like 3,000. Like definitely more than 3,000.
It is more than 3,000.
Yeah.
So they haven't reached
Fact.
everyone yet.
No, they haven't quite kind of broken through. So I checked out the ads that they're rolling out because I'm like, how are people, like, you would expect, given that vaccine hesitancy seems to be part of the reason that this is such a clusterfuck.
Thanks, conspiracy theorists.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what kind
You
of
think
ads?
they'd try to counter it, right?
So,
Yeah.
all right, so I can't describe. So there's like, I don't know what the doctor's name is, but he looks like a TV doctor. He's like jaw and like hair, and he looks like he doesn't
Is he
look
like
real.
Dr. Oz or something?
Basically,
Like
yeah.
square
Australia's
jawed.
Dr. Oz.
Like square jawed.
Australia's Dr. Oz is talking in this like very monotone voice, and the background music is like this insane, dreamy, very slow.
COVID-19 vaccines continue to roll out to those most at risk. People aged 50 and over can now have the vaccine.
But here's the thing. Then you're like, okay, maybe I'm eligible. So you Google it and you go to the eligibility test. Don't worry, there's no website where you can just book one because that would be far too simple.
you've got to call.
You got to call.
You gotta call.
And is the phone line down? Yes, it is. But don't worry, you can go to the website and do a helpful test by our federal government, who very much cares about getting the vaccine rolled out.
Oh, is it kind of like, are you fucked or not?
Yeah,
you
they're
tick a
like,
bunch of boxes.
yeah, you
it's like
tick a bunch
learning
of
your love
boxes.
language, but instead of getting your love language,
It is
answers,
exact, and
you get, will they give you the vaccine?
They won't. They absolutely won't. So I don't know if you've noticed, but you now, my friend, in your 40s, are now eligible. They actually made it acceptable for people under 40 and above.
Finally, a perk for being born in the fucking 70s.
I think they're
And it's
technically
about
saying that
goddamn time.
they're saying that you're vulnerable.
Oh my god, I'm a deathmatch specialist. What? I'm tough as.
Oh, sneezed. I also.
Time.
My point is that like it isn't really that simple, and I'm a millennial. I'm pretty good at the internet. Can you imagine what it's like for people who are like don't
Regular
understand?
shitheads who only,
Yeah.
like they and their partner have a joint Facebook account. That's
Yeah.
as complicated as it gets.
It's,
how are they ever going to find this vaccine?
No. So I'm going to put a cool screenshot up here of how bad Australia is doing in terms of global rollout. Some interesting.
That's terrible.
Cool though that we sent a bunch of people overseas to do the Olympics. Like, you know, got our priorities. Am I right?
Do we have a team at Eurovision as well?
No, we did, but I think don't know. But don't know. I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Right. If you know what's happened with our team at Eurovision, let us know in the comments below.
No, you know what we did? We had a really cute, like, bald-headed person doing our songs.
All right, so we put a bolder step forward.
I'll put a picture here.
Internationally for Eurovision than we did on arresting global warming. That's very comforting.
Oh, okay.
Good one, Australia.
Savage. Okay, so the facts about our vaccine rollout is that currently, right now, as of the 25th of May, we've got 12.9% of our population having one dose and a healthy 1.7% with their full vaccination. Now,
1.7% have actually had both doses.
yes, and they're all super old people because that, you know,
Hope they're ready to step up and be frontline
so
workers.
I feel like part of what might be kind of fucked about our vaccine thing is like, it's two things, right? It's voluntary, which fine, but also we're waiting for the old people who are the most hesitant / anti-vax to wander in and get this thing that they don't have to get, that they've now been told. And can I just also say that they just now tonight released another bit of news that 9 cases this last 7 days have come up with AstraZeneca blood clotting. So like, I kind of get, you know, like, again, take the vaccine, and I understand it's a low probability, but like it's in the news enough where you're like, that sounds a little scary, right? Like it's
not exactly selling the idea of it, especially if, and again, there's a gap in the virus. There's like, we haven't been under.
Well, this is the thing. We haven't been under duress, and
duress,
therefore, why would anybody, like, you kind of get why people wouldn't rush out and get this thing where they're like, well, I could blood clot. And
there's no virus in my house right now. Why would I risk it?
Over 50 Australian is not smoking themselves to death anyway, and probably at risk of blood clots. Like, have you met Australians? Yeah, it is, and
insert friendly Geordie's esque. I love get the vaccine.
Angie. I said, find yourself some nice big deal.
Quarantine is still only 14 days, and the guy who came from
he
Adelaide.
caught it in quarantine.
Yes.
So he landed at South Australia feeling, I feel awesome. I don't feel sickly at all. Woohoo! Thanks for letting me into the country.
There's like a bit of a door exchange because it's definitely airborne. Like, holy shit, is it ever?
Yeah, it's all aerosol now.
And then he gets it. And like, that's nobody's fault. And again, it's like we're looking for like an individual sort of like thing to blame and how easy that would be. But it's just like, again, it's a fucking virus. It doesn't give a shit. Scott Morrison comes on the telly today and does his like awesome ass press conference. And he's just kind of like, yeah, we're doing everything we can. And it's like, no, you aren't though.
Look, we're flat out suppressing rapes 24/7. What are we meant to also organise this? Well, not suppressing the rapes. We're suppressing news about the rapes and discourse about the rapes. The rapes themselves will continue as is tradition in the Liberal Party. But we'll suppress the news about them. They're flat out with that, and they don't have time to bankroll. I don't know, throwing a few fucking portables on the back of some trucks and running them out into the countryside.
My high school in the middle of nowhere could get portables. Why can't we put portables?
Like, they will put money into helping rich people put an extra fucking spa bath into their house as far as a home improvement
I see that you
grant.
looked at the budget that just came out.
But they won't do it, like, they can't also assign money. Like, think of the construction jobs to head out and build a functional facility out in the countryside.
It's
again, assuming you're not going
hey,
to send them to our purpose-built offshore centres.
Let me just let you in on a secret. They don't care. So maybe next election, let's not vote in the people who don't care.
We'll vote in the government that put a tax on electric cars instead. We are spoiled for choice.
So I think you're right. The caveat has to be, obviously, we are so fucking privileged, and to be able to sit here and just be like, it's fine. It's basically fine. But obviously these things do warrant criticism, and, come on, guys, pull your socks up, build some kind of thing. I don't know.
Pull your bloody finger out. That's what I'm saying.
As our friend said, get it together, boys.
Come on, why don't they just fucking fix it? Yeah, sound advice.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you just fucking fix it? If you're part of the ruling class and you've got a really good reason as to why you can't just fucking fix it, let us know in the comments below.
Please. If you'd like to give us a like and subscribe, please do. But
do that as
we
well.
probably won't be back because this is just like a one-off lockdown.
I'm sure we'll be back to normal civilization next week, and we won't be sitting here back on the clam couch.
Yeah. So
fucked.
We missed you all, and we hope that you have a wonderful lockdown. And yeah, Australia, get your shit together, I guess. But cheers.